Mark, the start of this game, did you feel like it was more energy on their part versus your part, or an execution thing, or maybe a combination of the two that just you all didn't get off to the start that you wanted to?
Yeah, certainly a combination. Credit them, first of all. They were ready to play, and they did everything better than us from the jump tonight. So dug ourselves a hole. Thought we tried to drum it up a couple different times, but they did a good job of holding us off as well. So we can learn from it. Obviously not our best punch, but again, tip our hat to them for going and getting the game the way they did.
Mark, you guys have scored almost at will, it feels like, in the paint this series. Why do you think that changed tonight?
I'm not sure. I mean, we'll go back and look at it. It was a combination of things. I thought their defensive pressure and physicality definitely stood out early, and they were definitely throwing the first punch in the game. That had a lot to do with it. Schematically, they were a little different tonight, but not a ton. I just thought they were way more physical than we were forceful on that end of the floor, and they were way more forceful than we were physical on the other end of the floor, and that's a tough combination.
And this ended up being the biggest deficit of your season, but like, you were down 31 in the Memphis series. Obviously, you turned that game around. What felt different about this game that maybe led to the fact that you guys never really, bid into that lead?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know if this mic's
Go ahead,
even working. Yeah. So obviously, in the Memphis series, you go down.
Biggest deficit. I got that.
Right. So I guess, why do you feel like you couldn't bite into this lead today the way you did in that game?
I mean, a combination of how they played and how we played. I mean, I would never discredit the effort that they put forth. I mean, they went and got the game tonight. They were way better than us, obviously, in every facet. Can't isolate it to one thing. They just holistically were much better than we were. And like I said, I thought we tried to drum up some energy at different points in the game, but they obviously were able to hold us off because they really ran through the 48 minutes tonight.
Did you feel any different about the looks they got tonight?
The looks?
Yeah.
I think we generate a lot more of a rhythm in the other games than we did tonight, and I thought that impacted our rhythm stepping into those shots. And so some of that, again, was them. I thought they did a great job offensively and defensively, especially from the jump, and some of that's us, and we need to, obviously address the stuff we can control and be a much better team in Game 4 if we want to give ourselves a better chance than we had tonight.
Mark, were there some signs early in this one that were sort of concerning as far as effort or just intensity matching their physicality, anything like that?
I mean, obviously they threw the first punch, but we've been so good all season at being able to take a punch and bounce back, take a punch and turn the game, amp up our whatever we need. And that wasn't the case as much tonight, but it's not like early, I was overly concerned. It's a 48-minute game, and we've been a team that's typically kept coming. But they just, give them credit. They kept their foot on the gas tonight, and we were just never able to give ourselves any traction in the game.
I think I know the answer to this one, but confident you guys can just put this one behind you.
It's been, who we are generally. We know the ebbs and flows of a playoff series. We've been on the other end of games like this, and they haven't been predictive of the next game either. So we do have to look at it and address the things that went awry for us tonight. But at the same time, it'll be a new game. It'll be 0-0 when Game 4 starts.
Mark, some of the things that you guys typically do to teams with pressure, bumping people off of cuts, getting over screens, not allowing to be screened. Minnesota displays some of those same traits tonight. Were you guys bothered by that a little bit, or how do you kind of counter that a little bit going forward as we go into Game 4?
Yeah, they're a good team, that's played very well for a long time now, and they have a lot of pride. And they probably felt like they left something on the table in terms of how they played in the first two games. And to their credit, they addressed that, and they were ready to go tonight. So like I said, it's a series. Every game's different. Every series is different. You have to grow through the series, and you got to grow through the things you do well, and you got to grow through the adversities as well. And we've got experience doing that, and we have to apply that right now.
Coach, Jalen Williams seemed to really unlock his offense these first two games in the series. What did you see differently in this game tonight?
I mean, it's not just him. I think generally they were just much more physical, much sharper, executed better, more forceful on offense. I mean, for the score to be what it was, they needed to be really good in a lot of areas and outplay us in a lot of areas, and that's what they did. So, again, give them credit. We lose a game like that, it's not just one team. They really took it to us, and we're ready to play. We got to learn a lesson from it. They're going to come out and try to replicate that in Game 4.
Why do you think Ant was able to seize control of the game the way he did, basically from the opening tip?
Yeah, we just weren't able to bottle him up the way that we have the first couple games. Credit them for freeing him up. Credit him for the energy and the force that he played with. He was really on it early. And again, their force on that end of the floor just was better than our physicality, pressure, things that we typically do well. So we'll look at it. We'll, separate out what was, just pure physicality and energy and what was execution. We'll address it and be a better team Game 4. That's what we have to do.
Mark, you mentioned some of the schematic things. How did it sort of impact you guys offensively with them sort of picking up Shea at a lower point?
Say that one more time.
How they were picking up Shea just lower. They weren't picking up as high.
Yeah, I thought they definitely wound that back a little bit, which is an adjustment that other teams have made. I mean, we're used to him getting picked up high, getting picked up low. We have different attacks for that. They did a good job tonight, overall with their execution of the plan, the physicality in the scoring area, creating a crowd. Certainly things we could have done better to try to loosen that up, but they were the better team on both ends tonight.
Went away from the double big lineup in the second half. Was that just trying to throw a different look at them?
Yeah, just trying to get a little more fluidity on the floor and loosen them up. It was effective in the first couple minutes. We made a nice run. We got it to 22, which for where we were was way more manageable than we had been in a while in that game. But yeah, I mean, just obviously I threw different guys out there tonight. I'm a big believer when the game's going like that, you just give a lot of guys opportunity to give you a spark, and that's what I was trying to do.
It's a similar thing with AJ. Went with him a little early-ish. Did you like what you saw from him tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to evaluate him. He hasn't played a ton in these playoffs. He obviously was injured for a long time, but he established a good little track record, early in his rookie season. He has utility. There's things he brings to the table. I thought maybe his ball handling could have helped us in that part of the game, but at the same time, it's would be unfair to evaluate him in a 3-minute stretch.
Mark, this is a little silly. It feels arbitrary, but fans like to say that a home team is bound to shoot better in their own gym. Like, I just wonder, is that something you're mindful of? Is that something you have to coach against?
I think generally, players, are going to play more comfortable at home, in terms of all the stuff that puts the wind at your back with energy and effort, confidence, and force. And we knew with them coming home down 0-2 that they were going to bring those things tonight, and they did. And while I thought we were prepared to play and mentally ready, they definitely landed their punches, and we had a really hard time getting into the game. But I don't know how much that's, them at home, but they certainly played better than we did tonight.
Anybody else?
All right, thank you.